Hello guys, welcome back to Taylor's Trick by Jamming. This picture that is displaying on the screen, if you want to learn how to make this accurately, then stay tuned. I'll be showing you how to pattern this completely, how to do the design in front, how to go about any difficult techniques on this tool. So this is the measurement we'll be using for the drafting of this. So the first, you draw your horizontal line as well as the vertical line for the border and then guidelines. You might want to write down the measurements so that when we go on, you would know what measurements is for whichever place. The first thing is you're marking out 3/4 as 0.75 at the top. So this is more like a constant, but when we're using for little kids, we'll reduce like to 1/2 inch. So the length of the suit is 32. You add 2 inch, that's for the down part, and then the center line is button line, which is 19.5. Then the line that follows is chest divided by 4, which is 11.25. So all the markings you've done right now, you extend them, and then this line I'll be drawing now, the next line is the chest divided by 24, which is 1.8. That's 45 divided by 24, 1.8. And so you would extend the lines, draw the lines. So after extending the line, you take the shape of the suit at 1.25 and then you curve out the shape. So for the top of the neck, I wanted to drop it as normal suit, but I just ended up using 0.75 because we're going to trim later on. And this is the tummy. Tummy is 38 divided by 6, which is 6.3. Neck is 17 divided by 5, 3.4. Chest is shoulder divided by 2 minus 1/2 inch, which is 9. Then we extend this line to the bottom. And the measure for the hips is 47 divided by 6, which is 7.8. So measure the shoulder and add 1/2 inch, which is 10. So this is the lines we need. Now we're going to connect all the lines. So carefully watch how the lines are connected. The shoulder line is not straight and it's not too slanty. So this is how I connect the lines. This whiteness is 1.75, and then the length of the vents, I guess I use 12.5 to 13. It all depends on the length of the suit you're making, not really a constant, so it's your choice. As I've explained most of this in my board pattern drafting, my explanations are well detailed there. So after this, if you still have any issue with any explanation, you can still go to that video on pattern drafting part 1, 2 and 3 to get clarification on any part. So we're adding 1 inch to the back for allowance. So we're extending the lines all through. The next thing is we're cutting out the back. We're done with drafting of the back. So we carefully cut out the back So you follow the shape you've designed. So we're done cutting the back. So the next thing is we're cutting the front. We're drawing a horizontal and then a vertical line once again. So the major difference between the front and the back is the front does not have that 3/4 0.75 line we drew at the top, but all the other lines are the same. So you draw for the length at 2 inch, draw for the tummy, then draw for the chest, 11 divided by 4, then extend, and then draw the inside line, which is 1.8. Then you extend all the lines as well. So after extending all your lines and it's looking as pretty as this, the next thing is you'll be measuring your chest divided by 4 again, and then the inside line is the chest divided by 24 after drawing your chest divided by 4. So the neck is 3.4 both on the vertical and horizontal line, 3.4, and you're connecting it just as I am doing. So before you draw the shoulder, you're not measuring the shoulder, you're measuring the length of this back, and which is 7.5. So 7.5 is what we'll be using at the top here. So remember we had extra 3/4 on top of the back, so in the front we are dropping extra 3/4. Excuse me. We're dropping extra 3/4. So it's looking this way. So we use this and then carve out the armhole. And for the tummy, it's also tummy divided by 4, which is 9.5. And then for the hips, we're not taking measurement of the hip on the front piece yet. We're using it on the side piece. So you just give it a bit shape, not just straight. So next thing we'll be doing is to carve out for the side panel. We'll measure the length of the front, this side, to make sure that they are equal. So the front is 23.25 while the side panel is 23. So we're going to shape it a bit more to add length on it, so as it could be able to meet the front accurately. So now after this, I still remeasure. This is 23.25, so it's perfect. So now we're going to extend our lines. We're going to extend our measurement. Okay, now we're measuring for the breast pocket. Even as much as we're not using the breast pocket, measuring for the breast pocket and for the lower pocket. All this measurement we're doing just to get the dart. So the distance of the dart from the pocket is 3 inch. So this is 7.5 for the hip line. We didn't measure it at the back, but it's 7.5. 7.5 for the hip line. So you measure out 6.3 and then do your calculations. As this is fast, if you want to still understand how to get all this, please do check my other video that I explained on the board, so you can get this part of the measurement clearly. It is well explained, detailed, and carefully explained. This is a bit fast because we have a lot of things to cover on this particular video. So since this part is already explained on another video, I'll just be leaving link for you to go and watch that particular video and then get the explanation of this part. So basically, after you checked everything, you're adding 3" for the sewing allowance of the total of this. So the measurements still go the same for either your single breasted or your double breasted, but there are just little techniques that are different. So you can check, you can see the lines, how I merged them to get the vent to be accurate from the back and also the front. So for the down part, it's not still same as 1.75. We're using 3" for the down part, and then we're taking our curve. So there's something we'll be replacing on the down. 0.75. 0.75 that was at the top of the back. Now we're bringing a bit down here, so it creates balance for the suit. If not, the front will be looking like it's hanging. So you just add 0.75, and then this is all we need for the front. So just carefully stay and see how we'll connect this with a sleeve and how we'll cut out everything. So if you're still here and you're enjoying what we're doing, just please, if you're yet to subscribe, do well to hit on the subscription button and also the notification bell. Your presence and your subscription to this channel gives more mental energy for more creation and more tutorial videos for you to learn from. So carefully cut out the shapes and make sure it's lying down accurately. I bet you tried this and you will be happy you ever tried this pattern. This is a game changer. This is something you will love. You will love it. So you place it this way in order to measure the armhole. In order to measure the armhole, place it this way and then take a measurement round of the armhole. Place it this way, then take measurements. This is 22 inch. So the front armhole, you measure from top to down, which is 8.5 minus ½ inch. That is what we use to draft out the sleeve. And then this dart, we're not cutting out a pocket because we're just needing it straight. I'll show you that when we are making it. So for the sleeve, also draw our vertical and also the horizontal line. So that 8 we measured, that 8.5 minus ½ inch, we're using it here. But first off, the length of the suit, the length of the sleeve plus ½ inch. So this length that we measured, 8.5 minus ½ inch, which is 8. So the inside line is the chest divided by 24, that we use 1.8. We're still marking it out. So don't be confused with the multiple lines that are here. We're just using same fabric to cut out. So we extend our lines. So from this last line to the baseline, we divide it into 2. It's 18, so we divide it into 2, which is 9. So now we extend our lines. So as you can see, this measurement we are taking helps this sleeve to be perfectly fit to the body. Not just taking any pattern of sleeve to just trim out and then trying to fix it on any other suit. This sleeves would be perfect for the body we've made, which is one of the things you would always want to do. So this slant is always 2.5, and then the bicep is 15, which is divided by 2 plus 2.5 for the top part. And this part is 13 divided by 2 plus 2 inch. Then the base is 11 divided by 2 plus 2 inch. So draw it out carefully. So for this second line is the sleeve the bicep divided by 2 plus 1 inch. Then for this top line is the bicep divided by 2, which is 7.5. So we take out this curve and then come in 1/2 inch this way. Then go to the top line, and then still extend the bicep divided by 2, which is 7.5, and then divide 7.5 into 2, which is 3.75. 3.75 you mark out, that is the center of your sleeve. And then you take your curve. This side curve is coming either on top of the first line or below it, or let's say the second line, this 1.8 line. So for the sleeve length, we are going to add, so in the front part you're coming up with 1/2 inch, and the down part you're going down with 1/2 inch. So you stretch your line. You can either add 2 inch or 2.5. I'm adding 2.5 to this. So 2.5 inch length. Just making sure my measurements are correct. And then tracking out my line. Then this length is 7 inch. And then the opening I'm using 1.75. That's the width for the sleeve vent. So this is the sleeve, but check that down part is looking a bit pencil, and then when you sew it wouldn't sit well. So you make a bit curve there, so as when you bend it, it will sit right. And don't allow it go pencil the way my hand is pointing, and it has to open a bit. So we're cutting the sleeve, the big part of the sleeve. For my suit lovers, I guess you can see how beautiful this is looking already. So as I have promised, I'm going to be showing you a lot. This will be the best 1 hour you'll be spending on YouTube to get such information. So for the smaller part, the inner part of the sleeve, first, we're cutting the back side of the sleeve. That's the vent side of the sleeve. equal with the inner part. So you just extend it with allowance of like 0.75. So this marking we've made, we are going to mark it out on the smaller part, on the inner part. As you can see, shift your sleeve, make sure you're getting the edges right. So now I'm marking the lower edge and the top. So mark this line, the second line, I'm marking it again. So I'm done with this. So I'm basically going to connect to this line. Connect. And connect the lower line. So before we cut out this part, we're going to slant a ½ inch for the sleeve shaping, ½ inch to that second line we marked. Make sure the shape is looking good. So before we cut the curve, you make sure you measure. Going to measure around 14.5 for this other side. We extend to the other one, which is 23.5, because you know we added 0.75 to the sleeve. So 23.5, and then the body was 22. So you see it's quite perfect. Sometimes after sewing you may end up seeing that the body is up to 22.5, and then the sleeve might still maintain 23.5 or still reduce or add, whichever way. That is around the range we want to use. So as I spoke about this dart, you're just going to cut through and then sew. This is the inner facing of the front. So we're attaching all the linings. We've sewn the first lining already. Then we're attaching the lining for the side panel. I love to take out the side panels lining different, not just taking the lining of the facing direct. It doesn't give the suit a good shape. I take out the side panel lining separate, and then it carries the shape of the suit as well. So as you can see, I'm attaching the side panels lining separately to ensure that the suit fitting stays intact. So the next thing, I'm attaching the side panel to the front of the suit, making sure that they align well. So for the sleeve, I already attached the vent part. I have a sleeve video on my channel. You can also check it out and learn how to make sleeves. So you just need to attach the side and then attach the lining as well. So I'm going to show you how to design this design on the suit. It's basically using a roomy thread, a roomy line. Then draw your lines of the shape of how you want it to be, and carefully use your machine, as you can see me doing. Carefully use your machine. The footer you'll be using is the normal industrial footer. The roomy would be going in through the center and your stitches on it. So you follow the lines carefully. So I have to speed up since I have to speed up the video just so we don't go beyond the timing I want us to spend on this video. So just following it carefully. You will not even be able to go fast on making this. So you just go carefully, slow and steady till you get the design you want. So when you draw the design on one part, you print it on the other. You use a chalk that can print, and then when you just draw on one part, you place it on the other hand and then hit it to draw the print, and then you redraw the print, and you have same design on both hands and looking both left and right. That's looking inverted, not one-sided. So you can see how beautiful this design is looking. I just came up it on my head. So after drawing the design and then cleaning, pressing, we cover the hand. That's for the sleeve part. Now we're covering the lining part. So cover the space. And we're done with the sleeve. See how the sleeve will be looking. And you make sure the design is centralized on the big part of the sleeve. So this is for the body. This is the design for the body. And we're still using same Rumi to repeat the same design. Voila, this is magic. I use abracadabra to do this one. Sorry, I just don't want to waste our time on showing us how to stitch it. So this is for the back. This is how we cut out the lining, and then you bend the down part of the lining, the allowance. So to make the back vent, first off, for the back, you just need to sew the center line. After gumming, after interfacing it with an hairstay, you sew the center line. That's the 1 inch you added. I love using 1 inch because of when there are any things I need to maybe adjust, or you need to do basically adjustment. You need to add or you need to reduce. I use the back line so much. That's the easiest place I can just go in and adjust my suits without stress. If it's tight, you add. If it's loose, you tighten. So for this, you can see you need to fold with an iron, then fold it in. Fold it inward. Make sure it doesn't have excess inside. Don't, after folding and then you just carry scissors. After sewing, you just carry scissors. Pia. You have yourself to cry for. So you see, that chalk line we drew on the folding edge, you just need to sew a straight line. So you can still understand this on also the sleeve making video I have on this platform. On this channel, I also explain this more there. So after sewing, you make sure you bend it this way and then turn inward. push. Allow the excess to be inside. Don't trim it. This is very important that you don't trim the excess that is inside, because when you're making a custom suit, there are always reasons that might warrant you to either still reduce the length or still add up the length. Once you cut out this part, then you're in for a big trouble when you have a client that always wants more. Like, I want this length to be longer. No, the length should be shorter. The length should be... So you just leave this in as much as you're expected to meet different kind of client, and it's more professional when you leave it in. Then you just carefully turn it and make sure it's lying down flat. When you even construct it the right way, when you make it the right way, when you leave it in, it gives it a balance, because it will not be excess and it wouldn't be folding. So after turning this way, the next thing you need to do is to go and press it down before you come and fix your lining. So now we want to fix our lining. As you can see, the marking I did with chalk down there is 1 inch away from the base, and then the other one from the side is 1/2 inch away from the side. So this fold we've made, you're just basically going to attach. So I'll still be dropping a video that explain how to make the back part of the suit, like how to properly prepare it. I'll explain the measurements you need to make while cutting the lining, and then how you need to fold, and every detail you just need to more clarity for anybody that have difficulty understanding this particular one, as we're just trying to put a lot of information in this video. So after sewing the side, you can basically see how you attach. So you attach this other side. You carefully place it. Then you're sewing. So after sewing the both side, you lay them down and carefully check. If there's any error, you go back and refix. So this lining, I bend it on the center line just to carefully see my center, the center where I'm going to sew the center line. So you bend it as well. You can go to the table to bend this with iron to be certain and be sure. So after bending or setting it, you then sew. I'm not sewing it straight. I'm giving a space at the back so as the lining can overlap a bit, so as it gives a little room inside. So as you can see, this is perfect. Sometimes when after sewing it might gives you a bit excess or might be a little tight, there's no problem. You can just go back inside, either reduce or increase, whichever one. If it's having excess, you reduce, and if it is not balanced, like if it is tight, if it is dragging the main suit fabric, then you go and increase. So you stitch the down before you go inside to sew and cover the space. Make sure you stitch the down so that the lining wouldn't shift when you're stitching inside. And then for the video that I'll be showing you about how to properly prepare the back vent, I'll show you how to trim it as well and how to attach it to front of the suit properly. So for this pocket, we have a video on this channel as well that is teaching us how to make pocket with invisible stitch. So after making it, you're just basically going to do a cover to slot in. The lining is open at the top, so the cover is not having a rough edge. The cover is going in between the fabric and the lining. So it's going between the fabric and the lining, so the inside is completely clean. So you tack by the side. Go the other way and tack as well. I told you we have a lot of information in this video that we can't be taking them all. That's why I'm referring you to some other videos on the channel so as you can put up the knowledge together. This pocket is done already on this channel, so there's no need showing you bit by bit how to make the pocket. You can just go to the link and see how to make pocket with invincible stitch. Okay, as I earlier told you, there's a lining in between, so it's not like it's having a rough edge. So we'll go in between, we'll go inside of the pocket to stitch the lining along with the pocket mouth, and as well as stitching the pocket cover not to just be hanging there. Make sure you're cutting your thread to make your work look neat. So I'm just going to tack the pocket cover for the meantime. This is the inside of the suit. Okay, we've canvassed the front already. As how to canvas a suit also is on the channel, so you can view how to canvas a suit accurately. So please make sure you leave any question you have anything you don't understand, just leave a question on the comment section. I'll definitely answer your questions. Definitely. So we're turning. The next thing is to hem. So you must carefully hem it, as it will help you to keep the suit's shape in the right direction. So press, and then trim the lining. So for the suit is having an invisible buttons, so we're going to make a cape and we're making our buttonholes on it. This is the cape and our buttonholes on it that will be attached inside of the suit. So this is the vent. We've attached one side. You can see how it's sitting. So let me show you how to do it. So for this other part that we're yet to attach, the first thing you'll be doing is laying the front of the suit along with the back. You check the lengths to be equal, and then check the crossing, like how much allowance they need to overlap to be sewn on. Once that is checked, you just need to do a free stitch to hold the length, so that when you finish attaching it, you don't see that the vent one part is longer than the other. Then you hold it firmly. Make sure they are adequately arranged. And then you go inside to then attach the vent. That's all you need for a clean vent. So long as your cutting of the vent is accurate when you do this, the vent sits clean. So these are basically some tough techniques you just need to understand. The joining of the shoulders are pretty direct. After this, you open press, you close the lining, you join the shoulders, and then we move straight to fixing of the collar, which I want to really show you how to do a very good collar for this, how to understand. So you can see the vent is staying so good. Okay, forgot to attach our invisible button cape. So we'll be doing that now. We prepared it already. So just going to lay it and then pin it down. Sew through outside? No, I don't think so. So we're sewing it, we're opening the board face and then sewing it this way. We're stitching. Just make sure you're not stitching other part of the suit below. So buttonhole is done on this already, because if you want to leave it to do the buttonhole after the suit is done, it might be just difficult. So you take a measurement of how long you want the cape to be, you do your buttonhole on it. So as you attach it now, and then continue to finish up your suit. One thing about myself, when I get too serious with any job, I forget to even take the scissors to cut the thread. I just drag the thread, and that's bad. You just need to use your scissors to cut the thread from the edge to avoid injuring yourself. Okay, that aside, this is when I tell you we're going to trim the neck. So trying it on a person to see how it sits, and then there's excess on the back. So you take the fold and then mark so that you know the excess is gone. So now this is the marking we took. So basically going to curve it out. So after curving it out, you're not just cutting it. The marking you took, you're going to sew on it, and then when cutting, you cut in front of it, not on top of it. So I've done the sewing already, so I'm trimming in front of it. So you take the measurement of the size of the neck, and then you cut. So this pattern I already showed also on this channel how to create a collar pattern. So this pattern would be a little bit big. That is why you see I reduced the pattern. You can as well check on the channel to learn how to create this pattern if you've not done yet. So cut, and then we gum. We interface it with the suit material, but before interfacing it, you just need to notch the centers. notch the centers of the colors. Then we interface. We gum. This is a cloth gum. This is not a color gum, not thick. It's very light. As you can see, me handling it is looking very light, and then it's not that rigid. So it's a cloth gum. You don't need to use a thick gum. It's a light cloth gum. In that way, it sits well on the suit, not a rigid gum. So after this, we're going to bend this part to avoid stitching on it yet. Just bend and then use a hemming gum to hold it down. Divide the hemming gum, use it inside. So for clean turning, I always love folding the edges over the gum. Folding the edges over the gum, so I don't stress after turning it. Fold the edges. Carefully fold the edges. So you can see how pointy it's looking. Fold, you turn, you push, and then the remaining you can use the needle to just drag it out. So that folding helps the material to balance inside, and then when you're pushing it, it comes out complete. So this is it. So we're joining the top with the base. We've joined it, and then you're turning the material this way. So if your the pattern you feel comfortable in putting your collar is not by infusing it, like if you like attaching first, you might do the other pattern, but if you want to infuse, you can just as well try this. See the color, see how it's looking. So the mirror. So we're going to stitch So next thing, we are infusing the color. So make sure you're starting it from the edge. So whichever pattern you want to use, whether you want to sew and then turn it inside, or you want to infuse it in, it still works out fine. So this is me attaching, or rather infusing the color to the body of the suit. So all these things are done, you need to pay attention to all details, pay attention to how well it is looking. Make sure it's reaching the end. Cut out all threads. And this is our suit. So if you like, you can just add the stones on the lines, or you can just rock it this way. This is how beautiful it looks. And then make sure you leave your comments and observation on the comment section. Cheers.